Hi golfers, Nick here from GOLFTEC Singapore. It's Friday, so welcome to another lesson on golf tips. This week on golf tips, we're going to take a look at the finish position and how you can maintain your balance like the best players. So if you're one of those golfers that lose their balance in the finish, this is a great video for you. So one of the biggest mistakes I see in the finish are golfers that maintain too much forward bend with their upper body, which tends to lose balance. The best golfers will finish with their hips forward from where they start. So every golfer moves their weight forward from setup to finish with their hips, but also they'll have a backward bend in their shoulders. So their chest will point more upwards. So that's the extension of the spine. The highest handicappers tend to move more forward with the upper body, which tends to move the path more to the left and sort of steeper into the golf ball. So for today's video, we're going to take a look at my swing. We're going to look at how the motion numbers calculate the hip sway and the shoulder bend in the finish, and we're also going to look at some tour players and show you how they move their weight through and how they maintain their balance by having a backward bend in the finish position. So let's hit a shot. So I'm looking for the hip sway to move towards the target and the shoulder bend to be backwards to help maintain my balance in the finish. Okay, so pretty good strike, pretty straight shot. You can see the ball flight on the screen there. So I'm expecting this swing path, or normal swing path, to be sort of 3 or 4 degrees from in to out, 3 or 4 degrees downwards. So it's a pretty good shot. Let's take a look at the data. 2 degrees in to out, 4 degrees down, strike pretty good. So let's sit down now, take a look at these motion numbers, how the hip sway moves forward and how the shoulder bend moves backwards to help stabilize my balance. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is take a look at my swing and then take a look at the motion numbers in the finish position. So I've just brought up the swing from both angles here, but if you take a look, I'll just put a line in on my right leg there. So if you watch in the backswing, I'll turn inside that. Impact, I'm moving progressively forward towards the target, and by the time I get to the finish, you can see how far my hips have pushed forward. So we call that the hip sway. So hip sway would be those hips moving towards the target. We talked a little bit about how the bend will help support the balance of the swing. So when you take a look at the finish position here, this is my shoulder bend. So that means that my shoulder bend is backwards 23 degrees. So that's sort of the extension of my spine. That's keeping me in balance in the finish. Now, if I was to move forward into the follow through there and lean forward with my chest, that would move my shoulder bend forward, and that's potentially where I would lose my balance. So the point being here that every good player moves their hips forward and extends their spine into a backward bend to help stabilize the finish position. So you can see here on the screen, I've got all green numbers. So I'm going to bring those up now so you can see. So you can see here, I've just brought onto the screen all the numbers that we measure here at GOLFTEC. So you've probably seen some of my videos before that when we take a look at the color code system, green is within sort of the tour average. So you can see I've reached all the tour averages in this position. You can see how my hips have moved forward, how I've turned as well. So just going across the numbers here, we have the sway numbers. So at the top there, we've got the shoulder numbers. So the sway, then we've got the bend, tilt, turn. And then we've got on the left hand side, we have the hip sway, and then we've also got the bend, tilt and turn of the hips. Some of those numbers are best viewed from the other angle. Say the tilt of the shoulders would be a good one for that, but you can just see how basically that's finished position is basically within what the tour players would do. So let's do some video comparisons now. So for the next part here, I'm just going to take a look at some tour players, some you may recognise. I'm just going to look at their finish position, obviously then relate it back to where I finished in the swing. So basically every good player moves their weight forward into the follow through, and I try and stress that a lot in my coaching, but a lot of golfers will sort of go to the extreme. They'll start leaning forward with the body. So what you'll notice here that in this particular golfer, and like myself, you can see pretty much the belt or the hips are the thing that's the most towards the target. And see a lot of amateur golfers, they'll sort of lean forward and their head would be way forward of their hips, and that would be staying in a forward bend. Let's continue. So another tour player here. So just going from setup, backswing, impact, follow through. And again, you can see how much more forward the hips are finished in the finish. Another tour player here. So backswing, impact, finish. So again, you can see how much forward the hips are always pushing towards the target in the best golfers. Okay, so another golfer here, so backswing, impact, finish. So I've just brought up a left-handed golfer here just so you can see the same thing. So backswing, impact, finish. So I certainly think that's one of the things the amateur golfers out there could really improve. Making sure you're moving your weight towards the target. It's quite a simple thing to measure, but at the same time you're not leaning forward into the follow through, so you're making sure you extend your spine. That's going to sort of help shallow out the angle of attack. It's going to help you keep your arms straighter. It's going to help increase your speed. It's going to increase the sort of consistency of your low point of the swing, which is the one thing that sort of links these best golfers. So every player that we looked at today moves their weight forward. If you can do the same, that would definitely help your golf. So golfers, you've got any questions on that, post them in the box below. If you don't already, please follow me on my other social media platforms, and we'll see you again soon for another video on golf tips.